Hello and welcome everyone to our Modern Era live stream. Uh, Hope everyone's doing well, enjoying all these brand new, or I guess brand spanking new by Legend Standards warships. But I am not alone. We're just casually streaming some Modern Era today, also with the wonderful Penguin.
Hello, everyone. Ready here to take out some fairly modern warships in our new mode, Modern Era.
Indeed, but we also have a third guest joining us from the void, Killer Ben.
Good evening, everyone. How are you all?
Killer Ben is one of our historical research consultants. He was previously English community manager for World of Warships PC, and has joined our historians and helped us out quite a bit with the project throughout the works. So, yeah, so we all three of us today playing some modern ships.
Start with A Burke, I think.
Oh, we're gonna. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep. Getting directed to speak closer to the mic and into it. I have a bad habit of turning and looking to co-hosts mid-sentence. But today, Penguin, sorry, wants to start with Ollie Berg. I'm going to take out Ticonderoga, and we're just going to cruise out into PvE. If anybody happens to join us or wants to try to queue up with us in PvE, feel free.
Taking a go.
So I've been learning about, modern ships are a little bit out of my wheelhouse, and I think to an extent also Killer Ben, but I think you enjoy them more than I do, maybe. But I've been digging into them.
Yeah, like I have a solid basic understanding of why the things are the way they are.
Yeah, and I mean the impact of computers design also has completely changed the shape of warships. I mean, today they look like boxes more than they do, or some of them look very boxy. And let's not even mention the zoom bolts.
Yeah.
Look, indeed.
I mean, zoom bolts look like a knife.
Which one's the Cube and the nuclear powered cruiser?
The
Cube.
The Long
Virginia?
Beach. Long Beach.
Long Beach.
Long Beach, yeah.
Virginia was one of her sisters, or was similar as well.
Enterprise and Long Beach got the Cube radar.
Yeah, which
Cube.
That's Spy 3, isn't it?
I think so. It's one of the first phase. We're going to start saying some very technical terms like phased array radar.
Yeah.
And electronic scanning and fixed arrays.
Yeah, like all of the U.S. The Ticonderoga and the Ollie Burke, not the Overhazard Berries, but our Aegis ships,
Yes.
with the ability to track hundreds of targets at the same time and engage them, which is.
Oh, there's a Belfast over here. The future is now, old man.
The Aegis Battle Management System.
Hey, Shaver. Hey, Sidroot.
Use some of my guided missiles here. I'm sorry, Belfast.
I'm sorry, little one.
It's ironic when you consider that against a traditional armored cruiser like Belfast, there is a great debate how effective a modern anti-ship missile would be against them.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, if you're hitting something with an HE warhead that's armor protected, it's not like it's going to have some resistance to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's why. Which of the Soviet era ships? It's Nantruka and Nustrashimi, and is it Sovremeni?
Yep, Sovremeni, Nustrashimi, and Nanuchka. Yep.
Did the Sovremenis carry the carrier crackers?
The granites? No, I don't think so. The Sovremeni is kind of their their most modern destroyer. They carry the Orpel. I think it's ORPEL. I think is the calling name for it. But it is a large sea skimming, very fast missile. But it's not it's just not the giant granites.
Yeah. Because NATO, well, Western powers in particular, really standardized on two anti-ship missiles, Harpoon and Exocet. And Exocet comes about because France is France and isn't going to buy Harpoon if it can avoid it.
Hmm.
Whereas the Soviet Union and as a result Russia and China were much more concerned about NATO navies possessing heavy capital units. In this day and age, it's the US supercarriers. So you end up with missiles that can do Mach 3 at 20 feet with a 1-ton heat warhead, and they can talk to each other. So you can fire a volley of 8 of them at a target, and one will pop up and scan the area with its own radar to tell the other 7 missiles where the target is. At least on paper. They've never actually had to test that.
Yeah, it was like, as far as I know, the only Soviet ship that we have. Ooh, on the right.
Yeah, let's focus down that bet, shall we?
Yep, that has engaged anything is the Nanuchkas, I believe, have engaged or believed to have engaged a Georgian vessel in
Well,
08, I think.
We do have, or if we go back to sort of like the origin of, because anti-ship missiles has been a thing. Well, it depends at what you define as a missile.
Yeah.
Because do you consider 1930s Queen Bee drones flying into ships as an anti-ship missile?
Yeah, or do you even consider Fritz X or HS-293,
Exactly.
or the U.S. like variants? I can't remember what, like the Goblin, I think it's called, or what it was originally called.
And the bat that was dropped by B-24s against bridges.
Yep.
So, like, guided weapon systems have been a thing since before World War II in terms of radio guidance.
Incoming.
Like,
go,
the big wake-up period for most navies was the 1967 Six-Day War between Israel and its neighbors, in which Egyptian fast attack boats sunk an Israeli destroyer, which was fundamentally a warmed-up World War II British surplus destroyer, which at this point in the mid-60s is still what the bulk of most NATO navies consists of.
Yep.
They're World War II ships with newer radars.
Yeah.
The loss of the Israeli destroyer means that all these nations suddenly start taking electronic warfare a lot more seriously.
Yeah, like you're looking at a lot of like Fram destroyer or Fram gearings and stuff hanging around still.
Yeah.
And these are just generally not so or not so common in combat. I mean, that's one of the things we tried to actually do with the design of these the scenarios for the PvE modern era is we specifically chose modern ships, or like the most modernized battleships, cruisers, destroyers from regular legends to bring in as essentially targets. But some of them still pose quite a threat, especially the cruisers.
Yeah, there's what's the US legendary one called again?
Worcester?
Worcester, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like Worcester is my #1 killer in this game mode. And
It's-
Colbert.
yeah, and so you ended up with a sort of interim period where you have ships that are, particularly on the NATO side, where these weapon systems are predominantly anti-air, sort of the first generation anti-air destroyers with missiles being built in, things like the American Charles F. Adams class, the British County class. Forget what the Japanese destroyer class that was based on the American designs. But like the first generation anti-air missiles are, if you look at them, they are ridiculous. It's like shooting telephone poles at people.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I mean, if anybody of you remember the Rust and Rumble event we had, those are the missiles there are essentially what the early anti-air missiles more or less looked like, because those were
Yeah.
Rim 2 Terriers.
Yeah, it's like Terrier, Talos, Sea Slug.
No.
The Soviet Union also, and then at the same time, when you're building these new ships with missiles built in from the beginning, you also have navies that are rebuilding existing ships into guided missile vessels. So the US rebuilt several of their World War II era cruisers, both light and heavies. USS Little Rock, which is preserved in Buffalo, is one such example, where she's had her rear weaponry removed and replaced with missiles and the required radar systems.
Yep. And she's the only Cleveland left around.
Yeah, and the Soviets did that with some of the Sverdlov class cruisers. The Royal Navy almost converted a light aircraft carrier, one of the Majestics, into a giant Sea Slug
Oh,
ship.
wow.
Mhm.
And whatnot. And then obviously the most extreme example are the various proposals of what to do with with Kentucky and Illinois,
Yep. Yeah. there's-
taking incomplete Iowa class battleship hulls and completely replacing their armament with missile systems.
Yeah. It's almost a shame that like those projects didn't live long enough to reach the the VLSL era, because having all that deck space that you could potentially use or convert into VLS launchers might actually make one of those missile battleship programs more interesting
I
or more
mean,
viable. Wrong way, even.
it was at the point when they were considering equipping them with launch tubes for liquid-fueled intercontinental ballistic missiles. And also, the Italians also had a couple of their ships refitted and rebuilt to be gun missile ships.
Yeah, Garibaldi
Yeah.
is arguably, which Garibaldi is the sister ship to the Abruzzi. She has a really, probably I would argue, the best looking of these conversions.
The Italians always had an eye for style.
Yep.
And so you end up with that sort of interim period, and then you get into the more
The double
as Blip
reload
said, like the vertical launch system, because when you guys finish your match and show off the Perry, she has what's called an arm launcher,
Mm-hmm.
which is exactly what it says. Like it's a launching rail basically for the missiles, whereas something like an Arleigh Burke or the later Ticonderogas have vertical launch systems where all your missiles are ready to go. You don't have to reload a launcher. Like you're limited more about how many missiles can your weapon systems guide, rather than the access to the weapons themselves.
Yep. Yeah, like the Ticonderoga we have is one of these later later models ones. I'm not sure exactly which Ticonderoga we used.
I want to say Lake Champlain.
Okay. You will have more knowledge than me in that regard, as to which versions of ships we
Yes.
use, because there might also be a little bit of a hodgepodge.
Oh, go gadget secondaries.
Yes, like I guess before anyone makes the question, no, we did not we did not ask the U.S. Navy for the blueprints for the Arleigh Burkes, and if we did, they wouldn't give them to us.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, the Ticonderogas are sadly being phased out of service
Just
now.
leaving. Yeah, I think the last 6 are in service.
All locked in.
Yeah.
There was a video from the USS New Jersey Museum where they were in one of the mothball yards, and they were looking at one ship, and then just behind them was like a dozen Ticonderogas,
Yep.
because they're an interesting design, because they're the first
Fukushima.
Aegis ships in the US Navy. Oh yes, Blip is showing the Perry with its arm launcher, Mark 13, I believe.
Yep. Or firing the standard missile.
Yeah.
And the real life reload speed was down to 8 seconds, but compared to having 30 missiles ready to go in a launch box.
Yeah. So the Oliver Hazard Perrys, as you see them here, they are the U.S. Navy's 1970s, 1980s take on the destroyer escort. We need something that is cheap enough that we can make a lot of them, but effective enough that they can protect primarily what were called reforger convoys, which was the US military's very detailed reinforcement plan to move hundreds of thousands of troops from the continental United States to Europe to respond to heightened tensions that could mean a World War III kicking off. So these ships are primarily there to defend troop convoys from Soviet air and submarine attack.
Yep.
And they made 80 odd of them, I think.
Yeah, and a ton of them, and export ones.
Yes.
Australia has some. Poland has some. Australia calls them the Adelaide class, and they're slightly. And each export version is slightly different. Some of them even have VLS cells replacing the arm launcher.
Yes. Fans of films will notice that this is also the class that is presented in The Hunt for Red October.
Mhm.
It is the ship that captures Red October, is an OHP.
Okay.
But the US Navy, basically after the end of the Cold War, the US Navy got rid of all of its Perrys and is now somewhat regretting that decision.
Yep.
So, question from my end. On the ships like the Aberg and the Sovereign not Sovereign Mini, sorry, on the Tycon, they have like this hexagon pattern. Is
Yep.
that like where the radar is housed at all? Or?
Yes.
Yeah. So that
is.
Or go for
Go
it.
on.
Or,
It is so. Modern radars don't do the classic. If you imagine like a classic stereotype of a radar, you think of the spinning dish. That's a sort. There are more modern radars don't do that. So some more modern radars don't do that. Instead of having the array itself rotate, you instead have an electronic scanner that does it instead.
Yep.
And on Aegis ships, which are like the Ticonderoga, like the Arleigh Burke and their derivatives, that's their main radar detection system. And that Aegis radar, at least in terms of public information, can spot intercontinental ballistic missiles in low Earth orbit.
Oh wow!
Yep. And can track.
Part of the Burke's part of the Burke's duties is shooting down incoming nukes.
Yep.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, and it can track, and it's not just you can see one of them; it can track hundreds of them. Officially, it can track 100 of them. Unofficially, it can track more than 100 of them, but we don't know how many more.
Yeah, and this system is used worldwide by many NATO and Western affiliated nations. Spain's warships use the system. Japan's use it. South Korea's use it. European nations don't tend to use it other than Spain, but we still have a domestic radar and such setup. But the Aegis system is renowned as being a very good system, and it's battle proven, and it's been around since the Ticonderogas, which entered service in '86.
Oh.
But the Ticonderogas are a funny product of US politics because they're called cruisers, but they're built on the hull of a destroyer class.
Okay.
And they were renamed to cruisers partially because they're a Ticonderoga's job in a fleet is telling an aircraft carrier what to do.
Yeah, for the destroyer hull was the Spruance hull, which was intentionally supersized, because they wanted the Spruance to have room to grow, and was also happened to be large enough to be usable for the Ticonderoga. So it's supersized with that intent in mind.
But they did have some issues with the hulls cracking.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Aluminium.
Same with the Oliver Hazard Perrys as well. and so they eventually had to go back and add reinforcements.
Yes, because a big so the sort of the first big exposure to sort of the modern missile era is the Six-Day War, and then but because that is not like NATO or Warsaw Pact nations fighting, people observed it, took lessons from it, and you do see developments from that. The big wake up call, though, for NATO in particular is the Falklands War of 1982,
Yep.
when you've got a modern NATO frontline fleet, the Royal Navy, going up against a force that is equipped with modern NATO equipment, in particular French Super Étendard naval strike aircraft and a handful of Exocet missiles. And we're talking
Oh,
7, 8 missiles in total. But these missiles are such a concern for the Royal Navy fleet that there are many insane plans on how to deal with them. Up to and including a commando raid on Argentinian air bases to steal them.
oh wow.
And they directly caused the loss of HMS Sheffield. And also, and a couple of other Royal Navy ships during the war are hit by Exocets. And there's a big concern that if one of the carriers is hit, it's game over for the British.
Mm.
So a lot of political pressure and military planning was spent on how to deal with the Exocet threat.
Oh, well done.
And a lot of it just comes. A lot of the modern NATO Navy experience is built on the Falklands War. So you see a lot more close-in weapon systems, the 20mm Sea-Whiz, which is most ships like absolute last-ditch defense against a modern anti-ship missile.
Oh no, they knocked out me
Yeah, 'cause-
rockets.
It's important to note that, like in Legends, we use like Sea Whiz to represent anti-ship missile defense because it's very visual and you can see it. But these ships also have multiple layers of electronic defense systems as well as things like chaff launchers.
Yeah.
That help defend them and are more effective than just trying to shoot a missile down with a bullet.
Chaff could be
Yeah.
quite ineffective though, couldn't it? Because usually if a missile sometimes had a lock, it could the missile would still fly true. Isn't this what happened with Sheffield or something?
So the big issue with that was what happened to the Atlantic conveyor
Mm-hmm.
at the Falklands, where she was a appropriated big cargo ship that the British had taken into service, and she was carrying a load of helicopters for the ground troops. And she happened to be sailing towards the Falklands to unload her cargo of helicopters when a pair of British warships, I forget which two, were nearby, and they came under Exocet attack.
Mm-hmm.
And they dumped chaff into the air, basically to it confuses the radar,
yeah.
and the missile lost lock on these warships and flew past them, right into the path of the Atlantic conveyor.
Oh no.
And she had no such defenses,
Mm.
and so the missile just saw large target at sea level and went straight into her. And so, which is why the British forces on the Falkland Islands had to walk all across East Falkland, because only one helicopter from Atlantic conveyor survived
Oh wow.
by virtue of being not on ship when she was hit.
Oh okay, that makes a little bit of
Yeah.
sense.
There's a single Chinook that had to carry everything, and I think she's in the Imperial War Museum, or one of
One of them, yeah.
yeah, she's in one of the British military museums. I forget which one. She might be in the Army Air Corps Museum.
Do you know how little that narrows that down?
Yeah.
Because I also saw something as well where Missouri almost potentially got struck because they put up chaff
Yes.
and then a British destroyer nearby was able to save it.
So
Yeah.
for fans of World of Warships PC who might remember the Mighty Jingles, he was serving on board I forget which Royal Navy destroyer it was. He was in the Gulf in
Ooh.
'91, and the ship he was on and they were getting ready. They were preparing for a incoming missile attack. And just before these aircraft got into launch range, they were shot down by a pair of Saudi F-15s. But in another incident, I think it was the missile was codenamed Silkworm
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Silkworm. Yep.
because it kind of looks like a silkworm if you look at it. I think it's SSN9. And in which case the missiles were shot down by the battle group's own missile defense systems. So, uh, in nowadays, as Blip said, it's a multi-layered defense system. Either you shoot down or stop whatever is going to fire the missile at you before it can fire the missile anyway, which is easier said than done because some of these, especially the bigger anti-ship missiles, can have hundreds of kilometers of range.
Yep.
Especially the big Soviet ones that were meant to actually sink supercarriers and the Iowas. Then you've got um, just basic jamming, confusing the radar, making the radar think that you're somewhere else. That's a key principle of electronic warfare these days. Is we have mastered the ability to make things appear in places that they are and that they are not.
Yep.
Then you've got more active measures, which is simply shoot a missile at their missile.
Hmm.
And there are missile systems that are dedicated
Ah.
solely to that purpose. It's weapon systems like ESSM,
Hmm.
Evolved Sea Sparrow, or Seawolf, or Aster. There's various missile families that are based around. These are usually shorter range missiles that are very agile, that are mainly there is to hit other missiles coming in, usually at low level, because radar has a horizon, usually. Usually, a
Hmm.
radar can't see anything that's below its antenna. So, even though the antenna on a ship might not be that high as you look at the model, you go, oh, it's only 10, 15 meters above the water. If you can get your missile to fly beneath that, it can be. There have been several situations where missiles have appeared completely unexpected because they're coming in that low.
Yep.
And like sea skimming, wave top, it's not marketing talk. Like these missiles will ride the tops of waves. They have enough brains inside them to know how high they're flying, to see basically what's in front of them and fly accordingly.
Yep. The harpoon missile is entirely designed around that concept
Yeah.
and is extremely effective at it. We're talking like 20 feet
Ooh.
is no longer considered sea skimming anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
Smolensk is scary. You can get out of my game right now. Thank you.
yeah, this one is going to
It's
tear you up.
spooky. Get out of here. Oh no, my missiles have been intercepted. This was not part of the plan. Never mind. Nothing. All planned.
Yeah, I think Smolensk is is the only paper ship that shows up.
Boom. Kill number 9.
But all in all, like when it comes to the sort of like the evolution of missile technology is a lot more pronounced than gun technology, basically, because
Oh,
if you look at the first set of missile ships compared to ships now, they look completely different.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the closest you can look at it, it would be like, in terms of evolution, go from Oliver Hazard Perry, essentially being on the tail end of the first generation missile ships with arm launchers, and then you look at ships like Nanuchka, which would probably be the middle with like fixed launch tubes,
Yes,
and the
the
Soviet style.
Soviets, yeah, the Soviets were fans of what we'd call the one-shot boats.
Yeah, and Nanuchka is the smallest ship in Legends. She is half the size, about half the displacement of the previous smallest ship, at only like 560 tons.
She's
Um,
adorable. Look at
tiny.
her.
They were a very big concern for NATO navies
Hmm.
because they were small, they were fast, they were heavily armed for their size, and the Soviets built a lot of them and their derivatives.
Should say on here actually. It should say
It's got the malachite.
48.
Yes, because I wrote these texts.
Yeah, and this is one of
This is familiar.
this is one of the later, I think, Nanuchka 3 variants. Because the first variant actually has a dual 57 millimeter gun instead of a 60 or 76 single.
Yes, it was the moment of panic when I'm like writing you it. I was like, oh yes, like the Arleigh Burkes. When did they leave service? Oh, they're still being built.
Yep.
OHP gameplay.
And another interesting thing is that the engine systems in all three of the American ships are the same.
Oh, wow.
They're all using
COSAG.
yeah,
Is
they're
it
all
COSAG?
combined. I think it's COSAG, but they're using the LM 2500 turbine engines, which are essentially just navalized DC-10 engines.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
DC-10 mentioned.
Well, unfortunately, there are no British ships in this mode, but several British warships of this period were powered by a navalized version of Concorde's engine,
That stonks.
Yeah.
the Olympus.
Yep.
Love
It
me
was
an Olympus.
basically the main reason that you see navies go away from traditional steam boilers and such is rapidity of activation.
Yep.
One of the big reasons that navies get rid of the reserve fleet that they tended to hold on to following the end of the Second World War is due to the threat of nuclear attack. If a nuke hits a major naval base, chances are you won't be able to actually reactivate any of those ships. And ships that are in active service that don't have enough warning, because to get like an Iowa up and to get Iowas up to the point that they can move under their own power is several hours of getting steam pressure built up.
Yeah, you're talking like 6 hours to be able to crawl out of port.
Yeah.
And really probably a full day to get work up to full power and full speed on something like that.
Whereas with a COSAG ship, you basically, and this is a very simplified explanation, turn a key and push a button.
Yep. And it takes a COSAG ship probably 30 minutes to warm up and get going, and then you're gone. Or you could potentially.
And you could get moved quicker, but your chief engineer might start throwing wrenches at you.
Yeah. And as well, ships like the Oliver Hazard Perrys can get themselves going themselves out of port if necessary without tug of support, because they have basically not bow thrusters but their own little bow thruster like propulsion system that gives them the ability to push out sideways and such.
Because with the advent of modern missiles, because of having such long range, you might get 20 minutes warning. Because like a lot of thought and effort went into refighting the Battle of the Atlantic, when you have NATO missile armed warships covering US and Canadian reinforcement convoys. And on the Soviet side, you were going to have hundreds of big missile-armed bombers, Bears, Badgers, Blackjacks. I'm missing one. What was the Tu-22? Backfoot.
Yep.
Basically, if anyone here has ever read the Tom Clancy book Red Storm Rising,
that's what they were afraid of.
Yeah, that's like the big naval battle in Red Storm Rising is exactly this sort of situation where you've got Soviet naval aviation heavy bomber regiments flying from northern flying from like the north of the Soviet Union through the Greenland, Iceland, UK gap, and just trying to volley fire 200 missiles into an area that they know is a NATO convoy, and just hoping for the best. And you've got NATO like F-14s, FA-18s, F-15s out of Iceland, Tornadoes out of the UK, the illustrious class light carriers, the French carriers, like NATO's deployment plans for who was going to do what and where were very detailed. So you would have ended up with, I mean, to use Red Storm Rising as an example, it's an American French carrier battle group.
Oh, I'd throw the radar a little bit early there.
That are in the battle.
Oh dear, the laptop I brought with me to read the stream chat, I forgot to bring the charger, and it is a gaming laptop, so it's just
So
immediately it's
battery
gone.
died 7 minutes ago.
It's gone, Chief.
I have the chat up. It's all right.
That's good.
There is a giveaway this stream. There should be a
yes.
pinned comment in the chats.
Indeed, there is.
To sign up. We'll be giving away 2 pinata chests to 10 people, as well as 3 Tiger 59s.
Whoa.
So,
Tiger.
which is essentially the oldest or the most modern ship, not oldest ship. Essentially the most modern ship that we have in the game.
The last gun cruiser of the Royal Navy.
Oh wow.
Although technically the hull is from 1941.
Oh really?
Yeah, because it's one of the
Shore class.
Oh wow.
that just never got completed, and they had her sitting around, so they built her in the Tiger class.
50s. It's basically World War II ends. Britain is broke, so they suspend all major naval construction for about 8 years,
Yeah.
and then start finishing ships that had been started during the Second World War, but with new technology. So you get like Eagle and the 2 Audacious class carriers, Eagle and Ark Royal. You get the Tiger class, which are heavily modified Swiftshore class with new up-to-date weaponry. And the logic was, we'll save money because the hulls were already done.
Kill it. Thank you.
Oh, the Colverts are here.
That thing, it scares me. I fear
Perhaps
no
the
shit.
weirdest thing about the Perry is that it's guns in the middle.
Yep, yeah, because the Perry was the first warship to be designed entirely by computer.
Oh wow.
And they were
And you
going.
can tell because it's all box.
It's all box and everything's on the top.
I will say it does have a really sleek looking bow though. Like
Yeah.
It does,
that is
yes.
cool.
That was meant so that these ships could maintain high speed through very heavy Atlantic weather.
Okay.
Because if there was one, because basically during World War II, the Germans invent the electro boat U-boats, which are the first submarines that are designed to be operated underwater the majority of the time. All previous submarines are surface ships that can dive.
Yeah.
The electro boats are the first ones that are properly optimized for underwater. Everyone copies them to one way or another. They either rebuild their existing subs to take lessons learned, or in the Soviet case, they capture a bunch and then they just start making more of them. So from 1948, if I remember correctly, the British are expecting the Soviets to be able to deploy 300 high-speed submarines into the North Atlantic.
Oh wow.
And then once you get to nuclear power, then it's just even more because you're harnessing the power of the sun.
Yeah. The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
And the Soviet Union developed submarines that can do 40 knots underwater.
Oh, that's the thing with like a titanium hull almost, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
they made
Yes,
one of those.
Crazy. Isn't it? Because they're like
It's
super complicated.
It had titanium hull and a liquid metal reactor that you could not turn off.
Yeah.
If you turned it off, the coolant stopped and
Brick.
it just
Yeah.
it just become brick.
I become one.
Yeah, they made one of them that could do the sprint up to, well, that holds the record, the Papa. There was also like a depth monster as well as a speed monster.
Yes.
And then they
Because-
developed a, let's say, a
Oh,
cheap
uh-oh.
version of it, which they
That's
mass-produced.
reload.
The
Payload.
Akula, which is one of the weird ones where generally
Oh.
the NATO and the Soviet Union did not use the same names for what we called something. It's not what they called it. So we called the common
5 second reload.
Soviet
Oh.
fast attack submarine the Akula, which is what the Soviets called the big Typhoon class ballistic missile subs.
Yep.
But to build their titanium deep diving submarines, because Western countries could not weld titanium. Titanium as a metal does not like to be welded.
Yep. Just
And
titanium
so-
is a flammable metal, like
Yes.
magnesium if you get it in like flake.
Granted,
form.
you have to get it really hot for it to ignite,
Yep.
but titanium will combust. And so, to get around this issue, the Soviets built these submarines in pressurized shipyards full
wow.
of argon.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
So the builders, the shipyard workers were wearing basically life support suits.
Yeah, the Soviet
While they
Union. Go for it. Sorry.
It was like the Soviet Union. People have this belief that everything the Soviet Union made was cheap and cheerful. But there was a lot of people in the Soviet Union who were very, very smart, and if they could get the political backing, they could do things akin to magic.
Yeah. The Soviet Union, in terms of titanium production, was world leaders throughout the entirety of the Cold War.
Oh, wow.
essentially. They could produce the most of it. They could do the most things with it. Like the SR-71 Blackbirds are famously built with Soviet titanium, essentially.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Um,
The CIA, a lot of front companies, but the titanium that goes into the Blackbirds was mined in the Soviet Union.
Yep.
That missile went off.
I have been running away this entire battle, and I just keep running into islands because I'm looking backwards and firing over my shoulder.
Why are you running?
And and so
I stacked the reload thing, so I got my rocket boot down to like 6 seconds. So it's like pew, pew. Like death by 1 million paper cuts. That was quite fun, actually. OHP. It's just it's perfectly designed to kill steel, and it
there is
infuriates me.
also, I can't remember where I saw this, but I'm fairly certain that the number of Oliver Hazard Perrys built is an odd number because someone in the 1980s mistyped something into a congressional form. And this is when the US Navy's budget was yes, because Reagan.
Yep.
And so they got an entire extra ship they hadn't planned for.
Right, so use them three. So next is
It's-
Big Sovereign Mini.
I mean, fudging these sheets has been known to happen for various different regions.
Yes. And odd fun fact about the Soviet ships and why they carry a twin 130mm gun, it was meant so that they could support marine landings.
Oh, wow.
Yep. The Sovereign miniguns were supposed to have a rate of fire of 180 rounds a minute.
Because now, if there's one thing I find cool on this, and I'm going to zoom in on this one, like, oh, wrong camera. There you go. Like these guns, they're just like look like something you'd find on like some sci-fi thing. Like, they're so cool. I'm incredibly biased. Like, I like the Tycons. I like the Tycons a lot, but these Soviet ships with those guns just look amazing.
The Soviet ships, being a lot more utilitarian, definitely have a more imposing visual look because you can see all their weapons.
Yep. Everything, it's less of it's hidden. It's just like it's all obvious on the surface.
Yeah. And the Sovereign Minis were meant to, excuse me, if I remember correctly, because I always get the Udaloys and the Sovereign Minis mixed up. the Sovereign Minis were meant primarily as anti-submarine and anti-ship vessels, and the Udaloys were meant as anti-aircraft because they are from a period in the Soviet Navy where the Soviet Navy is trying to build supercarriers.
Hmm.
Like when the Soviet Union collapsed, they had a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier that was about 60% done
Mhm.
in
60, 70.
what
Yeah.
became Ukraine,
Yep. And
because a lot of the shipbuilding was in Ukraine at the time.
Oh, okay.
this also has a tie-in for the history of both the
Oh,
both the New Sashimi and the Sovereign Mini class, in that the engines were also reproduced in Ukraine and were explicitly designed for highly filtered clean water.
Oh, there's no HP. Kill it with fire. Kill it now.
So yes, and therefore you have issues where the
No, please.
do we call her foreman yet? Is she has she finally been put out to pasture?
Which one?
Kuznetsov.
I
friend.
I think technically she's
Oh,
not
no.
formally yet.
Yes, but
Um,
she was infamous
Hmm.
for you could track her with a satellite because of how much smoke she made.
Yeah, with the Minis, it's a different issue. The Mini and the Nurse Sashimis were designed with a new advanced turbine engine, not dissimilar to the American ones with the basically navalized jet engine. And they were designed for basically very clean feed water. And in service, at least within the Soviet Navy, they didn't always get this very clean feed water while they're out and about. So eventually these turbines clogged up, and since they were of Ukrainian make after the 90s, it was much more difficult to get parts and maintenance for them.
Chief engineer reports expensive sounds.
Yep. And the New Sashimi or the Sovereign Minis, they built like 12 of them. I can't remember.
Yes, a couple went to China.
Oh, really?
And the Chinese guns don't have the Chinese ones don't have the rear gun. They're replaced with more missile systems. And they use an indigenous missile instead of they have their own missiles.
Then we do have a question from Nightwolf112. I have a question. I was wondering why the Ticonderoga is labeled as a destroyer when in reality it was a guided missile cruiser. I'm assuming that's just because for the mode you kept them all as destroyers.
Yeah, for the mode and to keep matchmaking and everything working the way we want them to. Everything is labeled as a destroyer. Not or like just like how we have Mikasa labeled as a cruiser. We do that for matchmaking purposes. So even though she is definitely a battleship,
There you go.
But
It's not as like changing reality.
yeah, and
But
like
since
like in a sort of representation of her being a cruiser, for example, if you're shooting at her with a Sovereign Mini, you can't penetrate her sides because she has thicker hull plating. You can penetrate her superstructure, but not the sides.
Okay.
yes, but both of you are currently engaging Iowa class ships.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we will have to cover why of all the ships the U.S. Navy decide to reactivate when they had yes money. Because the roughly speaking, the reactivation cost of an Iowa class in the 80s, which was new radars, new electronics, completely upgrading their fuel system.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, because the U.S. Navy in the 60s had transitioned to JP7, which is jet fuel.
Okay.
So basically, the U.S. military almost entirely runs on JP7. From the F-22 Raptor down to the auxiliary generators on an Ohio-class ballistic missile sub.
Okay.
If it needs a fossil fuel, chances are it's JP7.
It's JP7, yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
It either can or does run on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multi-fuel, baby.
it's one of those like basic requirements for something entering the U.S. military.
Mm.
If it uses internal combustion, it has to be able to use JP7, because anywhere in the world the U.S. military is, chances are there'll be JP7. And so part of it was they had to completely change the fuel system on the Iowas, because the Iowas previously, and the U.S. Navy previously, used something that we call bunker fuel,
Mm.
which
Basically-
is so it's the have you ever people probably have seen it, where you've ever seen the chart of like the different things you get from crude oil,
Yeah.
from
It's like
the finest refined
Mm.
to like the sludge at the bottom of the barrel.
yeah, it's like super heavy oil, isn't it?
Yeah, bunker fuel is that sludge.
Mm.
It is so dense and heavy, you can put out matches in it and it won't ignite.
No.
You have to warm it up, you
It's
have
like
to
heavier than
aerosol
diesel.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, much heavier.
Yeah.
and it's way more viscous than something like kerosene, which is just shy of being jet fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like open the lid and it all evaporates. Like, whoa.
And one of the fun stories,
Oh, no.
I believe from Missouri, was when they were first testing out the new fuel system. They hadn't fully sealed all of the piping and fuel output lines for a low viscosity fuel, and ended up getting a low
Jet fuel everywhere.
jet fuel everywhere.
Is this a like sorry to flip the script, but going to Grafsch Bay, when that was like, because they knocked out the fuel purification room or something, was that using like a bunker oil, was it?
That
And
was-
that's why it had its
there-
range reduced.
So the Deutschland ran on diesel fuel, but it's diesel fuel of the 1930s,
Ah, okay, yeah.
which is not. So what Graf Bay lost in the Battle of the River Plate was basically the filtration system.
Mm-hmm. Ah, gotcha.
It's called the purification system because I believe technically the German term for the equipment was purification,
Mm.
but it's basically because diesel fuel had been around for decades at that point,
Mm.
but it wasn't as universal globally.
Yeah, it wasn't a perfect science at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the ships were designed with the ability that they could basically clean their own fuel.
Mm. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so it's kind of more of a purity guarantee system.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you don't like, why is my diesel fuel crunchy?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. and most people here will know what happens if you have bad quality fuel in an internal combustion engine.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
The cylinders tend to eat themselves.
Yep.
What's this nasty stuff on my cylinder?
The double
Yeah.
double payload Ticonderoga is just criminal. It's so good.
Yeah.
Like if you guys aren't stacking your buffs and popping them at the last minute, like
Yeah.
it's so much. It's so worth it.
Like, I was playing a Sovereign Mini on the hard mode, and I got a triple buff of the damage, and one single salvo of SAP was just like, "Hello, USS Black. Bye-bye, USS Black. Thanks for playing."
Oh yeah, well I mean like the guns on the
kill
Ticonderoga
steal.
are
Ah,
development of a development of a development of a development of the gun on the Black.
Yeah,
okay.
because it's essentially it goes back to the 5-inch 54 gun, which is the improved 5-inch 38. And they've improved that many times to where now it's the Mark 45.
Yeah, it's like nowadays it's a longer barrel. No one has to be in the turret. The turret itself is now stealthy. The ammunition feed is like more advanced.
Mm.
Like a lot of clever's gone into it. But yeah, so the Iowas are sitting in the reserve fleet in the 1970s,
Mm-hmm.
and New Jersey had been reactivated in the late 60s. She did a tour of Vietnam, but the other three ships hadn't been
Oh, come on. No.
in active service since Korea, so the early 1950s. And what basically happens is Reagan is elected president, the Cold War warrior, and US defense
okay.
spending goes to the moon in more ways than one. And the US Navy is introducing Harpoon and Tomahawk missile systems into the fleet. but the ships designed to carry those weapons, like the Arleigh-Burkes, like the Ticonderogas, like the Spruances, hadn't entered the fleet yet. So the Navy was looking at quick and cheap ways of getting these systems into service quickly. And the only ships they had available that had the space to mount these like big armored box launchers are the Iowas.
Yep.
And so you end up in a situation that when all four Iowas are in when all four Iowas enter service in the 80s, they carry more Tomahawk land attack missiles than the entire rest of the U.S. Navy.
So they
And
become
they
the
don't
specialists.
carry that many either. I
Yeah,
think
it's only
it's
like
16 each.
I think 8 per side or something like this.
Yeah.
And but this is the 1980s. Today we imagine we have the Virginia Block Fives that carry 160 of them or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is generation one we're talking about.
Yeah.
So 16 is a lot.
And yeah, so you end up in a position where in the 1980s, the 16-inch guns on the Iowas are a tertiary weapon system. The primary weapons of them are the Tomahawks. And at that point, Tomahawk had an anti-ship variant, a land attack variant, and a nuclear variant.
Oh, okay. Jack of all trades.
And well, it's just changing the warhead and
Yeah.
the sensor. And the Tomahawk is a jet-powered cruise missile. Rather than say like a ramjet or rocket motor. Like these, like Tomahawks have range in the hundreds of kilometers.
Oh, I think that cold burst's going to get punched before we get there.
And the Tomahawk missile made
Oh.
its name in the 1991 in the first Gulf War because there was a hotel, I forget which one, in Baghdad where all the world's press was staying. And there was a Iraqi command bunker relatively near the hotel. But it was underground, but its entrance was through the front door of a house, or what looked like a house. And there's footage, I think you can still find it on YouTube, of someone in this hotel is looking down at the streets beneath of Baghdad and watches this Tomahawk missile come down like from the outskirts of the city, dips down into the street and makes a left turn and disappears through the front door of this bunker complex. And that's 1990 Tomahawk tech. That was 30 years ago.
Oh, jeez.
Yep.
Can you imagine what that thing can do now?
Yeah, flying through windows.
Yeah.
Flying through windows has been done for the past 20 years. So like,
Are you telling me it locked onto my Game Boy Advance?
Yeah, no, it could.
Like the Game Boy Advance does give off some kind of radiation signal, so in theory,
it can find you.
Yes, and Harpoon again. It's been, I think we're on block 6 now because the U.S. Navy, the U.S. military cannot standardize on how it names improving things. Is it mark or is it block?
yes.
And so you end up with all that kind of stuff.
Oh my god, look at this little thing. Can we keep her, please? I love it. Look at it.
I don't think there's many of the Nanuchkas left in service.
Yeah, I think there's like
I think Poland has one. Or she might have one of the.
Some of the Block 3s got updated in 2019 as recently as that, so they've got a handful of them at least.
Yeah,
still kicking around.
Yeah, because like all the Perrys are basically out of service. The Arleigh-Burkes are still being built to this day.
Poland still has I think four
yes.
Perrys, and somebody else has like 6 Perrys still going.
I think Taiwan might have the Perrys.
Or Thailand, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, because Poland is building new Type 31s to replace its Perrys.
Yeah.
Because again, even the countries that, like The Perrys were built in the 70s and 80s, and Poland got them in the early
Swedish.
2000s. So by the time Poland got them, they were already 25 years old.
But they modernized them as they accepted them. So the Polish ones are the
Yeah.
ones that have the vertical launch cells and things
Ah,
like this,
okay.
in addition to their regular armament.
Yeah.
Um,
Usually, in the modern age, if you're buying someone else's secondhand warship, part of
Oh.
the purchase agreement is modernization.
Yep.
Because you're usually buying these ships out of the other nation's reserve fleet. And to be honest, I'm surprised no one had made an offer for any of the US Ticonderogas.
Yeah, it's kind of a surprise, but also at the same time, these like the Ticonderogas have got to be clapped at this point because we're talking about ships that served as the backbone of the largest navy for 40 years.
Yeah,
like
that is fair.
like you think about it, like every single naval exercise, every single like NATO event that has been hosted in the past 40 years, pretty much a Ticonderoga has been at least the air defense flagship, if not the entire operational command center.
Yeah.
For most of them.
Because I'm not sure we covered it fully, but like
No, please.
the job of a Ticonderoga in a fleet was air defense coordination. So it would be the air defense commander, even if an aircraft carrier is involved, would not be on the aircraft carrier. The aircraft carrier's job is to operate and maintain and launch its aircraft. The Ticonderoga's job is to coordinate it all.
I just
So
love this guy.
it would tell the planes where to go, what targets for them to shoot. If the force was under attack, it would tell the other ships in the escort group where to point their systems. What are they supposed to do? So, which is why they have that very big superstructure for the period. It's because you've got a whole extra, basically, command staff on board.
Yep. And it's also like one of the big questions that like one of the things that I have with I guess the modern navies that we're like I guess with the exception of the new Defiant class coming, we don't really have anything in the plans that can take up that
that's a
role
waste of missiles.
once we finally lose the Tychos,
But
which
Bleb, that's what the Flight 3 Burks are for.
yes, but a destroyer fundamentally is still not like set up for
Or
cruisers.
I forget which one
roles.
it is. It's one of the Flight 2s that has had the new radar jamming system fitted to it.
Yep.
And I can only call it USS Muffin Top.
Yeah. If you look at some of the new Marley Burks at the superstructure, they've gotten a bit wide.
The
Some
radar
wide boys.
hangs over the side of the hull.
Yep.
Like for my brother in Christ, increase the beam.
Brother, may I have some oats?
May I have some oats, brother? You will have no oats.
And without getting too commonplace, at least the Burke is the only surface combatant the U.S. Navy can build. Can you please make a wider one?
Yeah. Yeah, guided missile frigates most. Yeah, like I would put the U.S. Navy needs is guided missile frigates first, and then after that replacement for Tycho, which
just by Type 26.
Yeah, the U.S. Navy is stubborn in terms of the less said about U.S. Navy procurement, the better.
Yeah.
Colbert in front of me. Please don't just obliterate me from existence. Eviscerate me in this case.
Was it Colbert or was it Suffren? Not Suffren.
DeGrasse
that was converted into the missile cruiser.
Oh, really?
Into a missile cruiser, it was DeGrasse, I believe.
Yeah. Well,
my God.
50-50. Guns in front, missiles in back.
Yeah. Because Colbert DeGrasse was the original one that got converted. Colbert is technically built from the ground up.
Yes.
They missile converted some of the ships like Anshan, didn't they? Which I don't remember what type of destroyers they were.
Gnevnes, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Project Sevens, where they basically, I mean, it's quite an intelligent way of doing it because they just replace the torpedo launchers with missile launchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like they look like the same missile launchers that's on the Nanichka, just on top of the torpedo launcher racks.
It's like SY-1 missiles, are they? If I
Yes.
remember correctly.
I think that's Silkworm. or the Chinese equivalent of silkworm.
Mm.
I think Silkworm is
Because
SIY2, but yeah.
yeah, but like the first big proper Soviet anti-ship missile
Yippee.
is a MiG-15.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's a MiG-15 with the pilot replaced with a radar system. Um, I forget what they were
10
called
kills for
though.
Nanichka. Oh my gosh.
Very nice.
Yeah, but
Can't wait
but
to
yeah.
unlock it.
Whereas in the NATO side, anti-ship capability was just pointing your anti-air missiles radar at a ship
Right, Tycon now. Tycon's the last
and,
one I haven't played.
and just shooting the missile at the ship, which kind of worked in the first generation because the missiles
Ah.
were massive. Like as we mentioned at the beginning, in the British case, you had what's
Mm.
called Sea Slug, which was hang on, I want to get this one right because Sea Slug was a ridiculous missile in terms of its um, proportions. It was 6 meters long and weighed 2 and a bit tons,
Okay.
and it never shot down an aircraft in combat.
Mm.
But it is credited with causing the crash of an Argentinian A4 in the Falklands, most likely because the pilot freaked out when he was flying at 400 miles an hour at 50 feet when a telephone pole came screaming at him.
Oh. Uh-oh. So now, if there's one ship I do like as well, is Tycon. Like this front here is just imposing. Like you just have the box,
Yeah.
and then the only thing that bugs me is why the exhausts are off center. Like, why are we doing this?
It's so that you can free up space for the Aegis arrays,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
that
you
you have
don't mask them.
360-degree coverage,
Okay. Fair.
because a radar system that's sensitive enough to detect things in orbit will be degraded by even clean burning jet exhaust. Even that sort of shimmer that you see,
Mhm.
if that's in the path of the radar, it will disrupt it. Like,
What do you?
given how heavily used these ships are, it's amazing the radar is as reliable as it is.
Yep.
What do you mean? It's just locked onto my Zega Genesis. Right, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
I
go.
mean, if you know the EM signature of something, you can definitely program these missiles to track it.
Yeah. Or I guess one of the or not EM signature, but the sound signatures of the at least the Oliver Hazard Perry and I believe the Burks and Ticonderogas
Mm.
can technically be altered because they have variable pitch propellers.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So they're kind of the first naval warships really to, or the Perrys are the first naval warships to really adopt it.
Perry.
But they can set their engines to one speed and then modify the speed of the ship itself and the sound profile of it by changing the pitch on their propellers.
Yeah, it's quite
and
cool.
that's so that because in the cat and mouse game between the West and the East, Soviet submarines would record the audio signatures of NATO warships
Yeah.
Mhm.
And NATO
so that they could
submarines would do the same.
identify them at great distances, because obviously sound travels really well through water.
Yeah.
So you could hear you could hear a surface warship before you could sometimes pick it up on radar.
Mm.
And so the ability to modulate your sound signature is a major advantage, because Perrys could basically disguise themselves as merchant ships
Oh wow.
and, in theory, lure Soviet submarines into thinking that there's an easy kill,
Mm.
only to encounter a mainline US Navy anti-submarine ship.
Yep. Yeah. So you have a
Get him.
clever engineer and
He's stuck.
helmsman gives you another advantage in the submarine game, which like it's almost unlike. In reality, it's often joked that there's only two types of ships: submarines and targets. Um, any of these little advantages gives you a big help.
Mm.
Yeah. And like anti-submarine capability has gone from the humble depth charge thrown over the side
Two
to
missiles of this dude.
rocket
No.
rocket boosted nuclear torpedoes.
Yep. And to clarify, no plans for submarines.
Yeah, we must put this. Yeah, we
I
got
got the PC guy to talk about subs. They're coming.
Yeah, no plans for submarines. But as modern warships, submarines are a huge part of their design and just dealing with them. So got to cover
Yes.
it.
All the way down to like adapting the metallurgy of the propellers
Oh wow.
so that their noise signature is as reduced as possible.
Yeah, if I remember going back and talking about the really fast Soviet submarines, the Akulas, they had or on the Pampa they had a titanium propeller, which worked fine. But the Akulas they were the kind of the inexpensive variation, and they had a steel propeller, which reportedly sounds like a when they're going full tilt with it, reportedly sounds like a skeleton inside of a tin trash can going down a hill.
So not quiet.
Yeah.
No.
TLDR.
But then these sorts of Soviet submarines were not meant to be stealthy
Yeah. Okay.
in the traditional sense.
Yeah, they're sprinters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're how to explain it. So Soviet Soviet ballistic missile submarine doctrine was they were all basically going to chill between north of Russia and the Arctic Circle. And they were
Roger
going to basically
demons.
and they were
EMP.
going to stay in this area, and they would be protected by these very high speed attack subs that would wait until NATO attack submarines were detected trying to get into this area and then just come out screaming out of harbor
Okay.
and either destroy the interlooper or force them away.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're like basically like interceptor submarines,
Yeah.
Torpedoes.
but they could also go, sit on the bottom somewhere, essentially, and
Oh my
wait
gravy.
to-
Yeah.
There we go.
So there was so a lot of effort into like countering these sorts of submarines because obviously it was just one day in the North Atlantic, NATO submarine picks up a Soviet submarine that's doing 39 knots, and they know it because they can hear it like
Yeah.
80 nautical miles away.
Yep.
And then you have this realization that no NATO weapon can catch it.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Like these things could outrun torpedoes.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and the torpedoes it couldn't outrun, it could out depth them.
What
Yeah.
about the experience on board when it's going full tilt? Was it just like a shake box where you just like shaking?
Not a lot of original accounts appear to have survived because they were probably all destroyed by the KGB.
Oh, okay.
There is some. There's
Oh no, that's gonna hit an island.
there's a website that basically collects old naval stories from the Soviet Union. I can't remember what the deepsea.ru I think it was. But there are some stories there, and I think there's one from the 44 knot run of the Pampa, and where it's where at least when they were up at 44 knots, it was essentially all like brace hold because everything was rocking and rolling.
Yeah, no sudden moves, don't let go.
Yeah.
If the helmsman sneezes,
Oh, double
we're
tactical
cleaning
awareness, yeah.
Sergei off the roof.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's record run. Normally they're going to run 38 knots or something like that,
Yeah.
which is still plenty fast enough,
Ridiculously quick.
especially
for a submarine.
underwater. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess if we're talking about this, we also have to mention the Bears and the Sosis net.
Yep. The Sosos net is basically there's a huge satellite chain of sonar arrays at the bottom of the Atlantic, basically running across, like basically from Denmark Strait south, to just watch out for anything going on.
Yeah.
Just listening.
You must pay the toll.
Like for example, when the Titan exploded, or rather imploded. Looking at for the Titanic, the
Sosis net in the area picked it up.
Yeah, the SOSUSnet knew right away.
Yeah.
Um,
Like,
and-
wow, what's
and-
this little spike on the graph?
and it's not like
yeah, literally.
it's like they knew right away, and it was like probably within an hour they knew exactly what it was
Like,
and
what's
what
this
happened.
on
So-
the graph?
Yeah, it's like you look at the graph, you look at what ships are supposed to be in the area, you put two and two together, and went, oh,
Oh dear.
oh. But this was designed to detect submarines, obviously. That's why it's at the bottom of the ocean, basically.
Yep.
The Tupolev Tu-95 Bear bomber, with its four 12,000 horsepower turboprops,
Contra prop. Oh my god. What a noise.
contra-rotating, were reportedly able to be detected by the SOSUSnet
Really? Wow. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. If you've
Yeah,
ever heard one
because
of
of
these
how-
planes, oh my god.
because of how loud they are.
Yeah, because you basically got four engines, 8 propellers, so you're running 6,000 horsepower on each propeller. Yeah,
Noise.
I
TLDR.
don't think the blades were going supersonic. I don't think they went full thunder screech.
yeah. No,
Huh.
they didn't. But it's close. And the SOSUSnet is basically the reason the SOSUSnet knew what happened to Titan, but couldn't really tell anyone because it's all below 800 meters, and everything in the U.S. Navy that happens below 800 meters is classified, just flat out. So the reason that like SOSUS knew, but it didn't really get to the Coast Guard until later, is because of that chain of getting it declassified so that they can tell what happened.
Oh my god. Right. I'm going to say it again. No plans for submarines. Oh my god. Just because we're talking about them doesn't mean we got Adam.
You can't talk about modern missile warships without
Yeah.
talking about submarines, I'm afraid.
Yep.
Because in the post-war world, the subs got up to a lot more than the surface ships.
You can hide a sub.
Yeah. Mod,
And most
mute
of the
this
things
man.
the surface ships did was shoot down airliners.
Right. I'm going to play Nutrishimi again because it was quite fun.
Yeah.
Wait.
Because like Taekwondo,
Yeah,
I think was
somebody
it
ran a joint.
Ticonderoga
We got an
herself?
intruder.
Oh no.
How did he get in? Intruder window.
It's fine.
Yeah, okay, we'll allow it.
Your Sagan bin?
I was saying I can't remember which of the Ticonderogas was involved in that tragedy.
Or liner shoot down?
Yes.
It wasn't Ticonderoga herself, I don't think, but I think it was one of the three after her.
Yeah, but
One
it
of the
was
other ones.
a lot came out of that about personnel management, stress, and like at what point do you have to relieve someone because they've been doing something for too long?
Yep.
Because I think the officer on deck had been on duty for like 14 hours and was like medically exhausted. He should not have been in the position he was at the time.
Yep.
Just like we're escorting the Midway.
Which for like something like a Ticonderoga was something they did.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Midway was still in service.
Oh, yeah, Midway.
Midway went out of service in 92.
Oh, wow.
91, 92.
She had a bit of a life, didn't she? Did they see service? Midway, why are you
They-
reversing? What are you doing?
They finished just after the war. They're the ultimate US wartime carrier design.
Mm.
Then the three ships built: Midway, Coral Sea, and Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Midway got rebuilt in the. She got
Come
rebuilt a
back.
few times. The one that she's famous for was the rebuild in the 70s, which is she's somewhat infamous for because she earned the nickname Rock and Roll, and not for a good reason.
Oh.
Yeah,
Because
the Midways were already kind of top heavy.
yeah, so Midway is a 45,000 ton design.
Mm.
They tried to fit the flight deck of an
Double
80,000
kill.
ton aircraft carrier on her.
Double kill.
She went from like 2.8 acres of flight deck to 4, and all of a sudden she rolled violently.
Panic. Oodaloy. Panic.
Good.
Enough that there were several reports of her shakedown cruise after this rebuild, where purely because some ropes didn't fail, she didn't lose several aircraft over the side.
Oh wow.
Because she would pitch and roll violently, and it cost millions of dollars to fix her.
Yep.
And because of how problematic her rebuild had been, her sisters don't get the rebuild.
Yep. But,
Okay.
Yeah, Midway's ended up staying in service as essentially the carrier based in Japan. For
Ironic, given that you left the ship called Midway
yeah,
in Japan.
yeah. There was probably some extra thinking going on there. But she basically serves as like the like permanently stationed in Yokosuka.
Oh wow.
For most of her
Yes,
life.
the US Navy has an entire fleet based out of Japan.
And she gets replaced in that role by Ronald Reagan,
Oh,
the-
rocking the
the carrier, not the ship,
Hmm.
or the carrier, not the president.
That's what Reagan did after being president. He went to Japan.
Oh, look, we've got Prince
Yep.
Blip rocking the oil slick camo, and
Yep.
looks pretty
With-
slick.
with a certain amount of kills on it.
Let's see. Let's show everyone how many kills have you got. Don't do that.
There you go.
But
Oh,
yeah,
it's the funny number. Oh no, for God's sake!
no.
It's God damn it! It was always going to be 6-7 on that one. Oh my god!
Dealing with children.
Oh no, we've left the
No,
the ship I'm supposed to be escorting. I have left.
there's a unmodern question.
Mhm.
In your
Yep.
opinion, who do you think would win in a 1v1? A 1920 South Dakota or 1939 South Dakota?
1939, better fire control, and it's faster.
Yeah,
Well, there you have it.
yeah. Being 7 knots faster, give or take, allows you to just stay at the distance you want to stay at, and unless the 1920 South Dakota is modernized like the California was or something like that, then it's not gonna.
Try not to sail too far, Blip, because the enemy's going to spawn here. It's just we left the carrier behind, so
Yeah, the carrier was going backwards.
it was going backwards. Yeah, bro was like, "No, not doing it. Not happening."
You're the game designer, Blip. Why did the carrier go back?
I am wondering as well.
Why is it backwards? What is going on?
I mean, I don't think the Midways had it, but the Essexes, the class that came before it, were capable of almost top speed backwards
Oh wow!
Yep.
because they had in their requirements that they had to be able to operate aircraft off both ends of the flight deck.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
They
The
never
more you
used
know.
it. It was a
Mhm.
completely superfluous feature. But
Yeah.
technically, I think I've seen one photo of an Essex going at full speed backwards.
Sort of
and
like
launching
the
aircraft off the stern.
Yeah.
sort of like the STRV of the Warships world.
Yeah, if I remember right, it was part of the acceptance trials, and they just never
Yeah.
used it after that.
Mm.
Basically,
Because if your Essex class carrier has had enough damage to its forward area to prohibit flight operations,
Oh,
chances are you've got bigger things to worry about than continuing flight operations.
yep.
enemy A-Berg spotted. Priority target. Destroy this man.
Has Arnie Burke herself been decommissioned yet? Or is she still
Uh,
around?
the original, the Oliver
Yeah,
herself,
Like
has- yes.
Arlie Burke.
Yeah, I think she has been decommissioned at this point, or she's in reserve.
Ships in class. Arlie, no, she is active.
Oh, okay.
She is based in Spain. Rota.
Oh wow.
Which interesting note: the Spanish Navy is one of the only European navies that uses the Aegis system.
Oh really?
So Ollie Burke would just be right at home there serving with them.
So what system does like the Royal Navy use then? If they don't use Aegis, they use like a variation of it, or
No, it's got a different name. Hang on, because our modern destroyers are the Type 45s.
oh, knowing us, it's probably gonna
So-
be called like Starstreak or something like that.
Not quite. Her radar system. What's it called? The Samson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Less cool.
Yeah,
Samson.
because they're designed around the Aster missile system, so it's going to
Okay.
be a French system.
Samson AESA system.
Less cool
Which
than
is a
Star
type-
Street.
which is a type of radar.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes, but they carry like Sea Scepter.
Yeah, but there you go. There's there's the cool name.
Yeah.
It's a sovereign mini foiling my plans as always. All my beautiful missiles.
Yes. So the Sovereign Minis, yes, the Soviets planned 25,
Hmm.
built 21. 4 went to the Chinese. All the Russian ones are decommissioned.
Oh wow. Okay.
And Sovereignty herself is a museum ship.
Oh, is she?
Mhm.
Oh, that's cool.
Or one of them is preserved as a museum ship.
Hmm.
Yes,
Just trying to obliterate this
so,
one.
sorry,
over
no,
here.
sorry, it is not Sovereign Mini.
It's B. It starts with a B, doesn't it?
Yes, it's her name means restless. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce its Russian name.
It's like Barej something. Yeah.
No, it's more than that.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Are you looking at Twitch chat?
Yes.
Yes, we can see.
That is what it's called.
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh yeah, bespoken art. Yeah.
I'm gonna get flamed
Biscotti.
enough.
Ooh, look at Blip being fancy. He can pronounce Russian.
Yeah. Been trying to get better at it. I'm not going to say that I'm anywhere near capable. The Sovereign Minis were really the top of the line destroyers because the Nostrosemis are technically frigates.
Yes.
And they only made 2 of them.
Cool guys, don't look
Yes.
at explosions. Yeah, that is definitely new. I'm not going to pronounce it because I'll probably butcher it as always.
Summon something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Chinese Sovereign Minis are still active. Yeah.
Yep.
Probably due to that boiler issue I was talking about earlier with the feed water.
Right, let's go and fight. I know where they're spawning. Let's go and fight. Activating the booster. So don't what we got. We got an increased payload. Okay, that'll do. It's a Sovereign Mini.
Working on them.
Activating EMP. He just destroys all my missiles. Look, they're gone.
Yeah, because Sovereign Mini has 4 basically.
3.
Well, the ship itself has 4 Sea Whiz, but it
Yeah.
can track 3 missiles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In the game.
And it's a nasty looking system.
Yeah, it's like a little, just almost like
It's 30mm Gatling guns.
Yeah.
So.
I think their nickname to NATO was Daleks.
Yeah. I was literally going to say, yeah, they just literally look like the head of a Dalek.
Yeah, the AK-630.
Yeah, which 6 barrels, 30mm. Is where the numbers come from because it's a Gatling system.
The numbers, what do they mean?
With a rate of fire of the
no.
modernized version
Oh, it's another Sovereign Mini.
of 10,000 rounds a minute.
Oh,
Per gun.
Yeah. Because the priority in missile defense in terms of gun systems is you need to start shooting at the missile as far away as possible. Because even if you shoot down a missile at the last moment, it's going to spray your ship with shrapnel and jet fuel.
Yep.
So most nations that adopt a CWIS system after the United States adopt larger calibers than the Americans. Because the US use a 20mm weapon, it's the Vulcan.
Yep.
The same gun that is on a Arleigh Burke is fundamentally the same gun that's in the wing of an F-15.
Yep.
Whereas the Royal Navy, on its illustrious class carriers, used a system called Goalkeeper, which is a CWIS variant of the GAU 8 off an A10.
okay. Oh, wow.
And the main advantage was that the Goalkeeper could engage a target twice as far away as a phalanx. So you've got more time to shoot the missile down.
Yep.
Okay.
The Soviets, Russians, Chinese use 30mm as well. The Italians use a 40mm system. It's a Bofors on steroids.
Yeah, if any of you are familiar with the SPAA tank, the automatic,
Oh, that
Yeah.
thing.
it's essentially that.
Yeah, the automatic is carrying an Italian 76mm naval gun on a OF40 chassis.
Yeah. Oh, 40 sounds right.
Yeah, so in terms of gun systems, like the gun system is always the last line of defense, but even being the last line of defense, you still want to have as much engagement opportunity as possible,
Yep.
especially when you have missiles that are moving now at Mach 3, Mach 4,
Hmm.
where if a phalanx can engage out to 2,000 meters, a modern hypersonic anti-ship missile can cover that distance in about a second. So the system has one chance to shoot it down.
Okay. Ooh. There's an Oliver H. Perry sneaking around here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he at? Where is he? I know he's here. I think I might have radared a little bit too early there.
Yeah, and these days, most navies are testing out their laser defense systems.
I got you.
Which like the British have, I think they call it Dragonfire.
Another cool name. Though.
yeah.
Dragonfire.
Yeah, the British laser system name is actually pretty big.
Not biased. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, and it's like you've got two main types of laser system. There's the fry the missiles guidance system, so it just doesn't hit anything, or there's the actually cause the missile to structurally fail by burning it.
Okay.
But the Bernie missile requires an obscene amount of power.
Yep. And time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas basically, like the first type of laser, which is the more practical at the moment, is basically the same as what you call a laser dazzler. If you've ever had someone point a laser pointer in your eyes,
It's
A,
like
you
that.
shouldn't do that. It's really dangerous.
Yeah.
But it's basically like that.
PSA would
basically-
kill him in.
You're doing to the missile how you react when a laser pointer is pointed at your eyes.
Yeah, just do not do that at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, do not do that.
Yeah. World Warships Legends PSA. If you have a laser pointer, do not shine it in other people's eyes.
And if you point it at an aircraft, that's a federal crime.
Yeah, that is a crime, yeah. So again, don't do it.
Don't do it.
And for the fans of a certain Transformers 3 movie, in terms of railguns in service with the navies, the only people seriously pursuing it right now are the Japanese that we know of.
It is a cover for their Gundam project.
And they test fired it earlier this year and managed to hit a target from one ship at sea against another ship at sea for the first time with a railgun.
Oh, wow.
And the big benefit for the Japanese system, unlike the previous Anglo-American system, was it's not sending half the barrel downrange after about 7 shots.
Yeah, they've been able to do repeat firings.
Oh, okay.
Without melting the barrel.
Wisconsin.
But if you are hit by something doing Mac Jesus, chances are you don't need to hit it a second time.
Yeah. That's a very valid point. Very, very valid.
And I guess on the notes of the Ticonderoga's retiring at this year's SyncX operation, expended a Ticonderoga.
These were expended in Iwo Jima, didn't they? Didn't they
Yes.
also do Iwo Jima?
Yeah, and Iwo Jima, one of the first America class LHAs, also got expended.
Right. This
or
carrier has annoyed me for the last time.
There is footage of an AC-130 gunning the Ticonderoga during the
Oh,
SyncX.
really? Oh,
It's
wow.
actually really cool. You can go find it.
On the YouTube.
Not particularly practical if an AC-130 is that close to something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if,
true.
if you're at that point, something very strange is going on.
Yeah. But that was definitely the US Air Force going, please, can we do this?
Yeah.
Let me in. Let me have fun too.
It's like my only effective anti-shipping capability right now.
See, oh, there's a Worcester. Oh, and he's going to crash, which is just scuffed my missile. Epic.
I love the unguided missiles in the new Sashimi. They're
They
so
just go
fast.
straight up. They're just like up.
Well, I mean, a lot of modern missiles are designed to do pop-up attacks
Hmm.
because because you don't necessarily want to sink an enemy ship, because
Hmm.
if you sink it, it's over, it's done for. But if you can cripple it and put it in a shipyard for 9 months, a year, that can do a lot more damage to your opponent's ability to wage war than simply sinking a ship outright.
Okay.
Because now they have
So
to fill up those dockyards with repairing ships instead of building new ones or.
Hmm.
Um,
But if they say that did happen, couldn't I just like mothball it to like the end of the war, and then that still leaves an advantage? It still gives me an advantage because you
it
failed to
depends.
sink the ship in this case.
It
Okay.
depends on the situation.
At that point, it's also economic warfare.
Fair,
Yeah.
valid.
And so missiles will go for radar arrays and superstructure,
Mm.
and not necessarily the hull of the ship. Partially that's because that's where all the expensive stuff is, and it's also usually what the missile is homing in on.
Mm.
Yep. Because they'll use the radar signal to lead it to home.
Okay.
Because management of emissions is a big thing in naval combat. It's because the more power you put into your radar systems, the easier you are to find.
Mm. Yeah, because it's just like
It's-
your thing.
you have to balance. It's basically like standing in an open field at night with a torch that you can turn up and down.
Yeah.
You need to balance your ability to see where you're going and see what's around you with how easy it is for other people to see you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that can be done in many, many, many ways. And it has been a long and quite bloody learning curve about how to use radars and when to use radars. And because certain radars have a very distinctive signature.
Mm.
So something American related is during the Gulf War in 1991 against Iraq,
Mm.
Iraq had previously fought a war with Iran, and Iran had access to US F-14 Tomcat fighters that had a very capable radar system.
Mm.
And what the US and allied forces in the Gulf discovered was that if an Iraqi fighter detected that it was being tracked by an F-14's radar, it would immediately turn away and run away,
Mm.
because they knew that that radar signature meant that type of aircraft which they had fought and knew was very dangerous.
Mm.
Oh yeah, and another thing that is technically correct is that Arleigh Burkes do carry torpedo tubes.
Yeah,
They're not meant for anti-ship purposes; they're anti-submarine.
because they've got like homing torpedoes on, don't they?
Yes, homing torpedoes.
Yeah, there's going to be usually the Mark 54, or if they're daring, maybe the Mark 50.
I'm surprised they're exposed on the whole, though. I thought they'd be like behind a cover or something, and they just like pop open. Because I think on some of the Japanese destroyers, they're hidden behind a cover. Are they
Some
not?
ships, some more modern ships, they are in enclosed little, like the door pops open and they come out.
Yeah.
But the Arleigh Burke is from a design period where stealth was a nice to have,
Mm.
but it wasn't like a primary, like we need to have like all stealthiness.
Yeah, the first.
So
the first people to, or the first
Go,
ships
go, gadget missiles.
to be designed with the stealth as more of a priority is the Horizon class frigates from the first Navy.
Go missiles! Get him!
but like more modern,
Yeah.
like most modern warships, like the Type 45s, the Type
Mm.
26s, the Horizons, the new Japanese Mogami class, they are being designed with much more of a nod to not being stealthy.
11 kills.
They're not stealth ships in like the Zumwalt sense, or the what was the US testbed called?
Um,
The one that's in the James Bond movie.
I don't remember what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
No.
Looks like
Yeah.
a kind of like a weird black catfish.
Oh,
with a big
Yeah.
open
that
mouth.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The catamaran.
Like that and the Zumwalt are stealth ships, where the stealth is a key part of their design philosophy.
Hmm.
Most modern ships are, I think the current accepted term is reduced radar cross section. So you're not hiding the ship from radar, but on a radar, it should not look like a warship.
Hmm.
It's like what they say, like the F-22 has the radar cross section of a Sparrow.
Okay.
That kind of stuff, where like because you can't hide yourself, your priority becomes making yourself not look like what you are.
Look like a fishing boat instead of a
Yeah.
a warship.
That armed enemy destroyer outside of our port.
Well, like looking like a fishing boat on radar is fine until the radar operator notices the fishing boat is doing 30 knots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, there's one fast fishing boat.
And it's like, so you
Mobius
have
asks,
stuff like this.
could a Burke torpedo be used against a surface ship in a last-ditch effort?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
go.
it's not going to do a significant amount of damage because these are or they now call nowadays lightweight torpedoes. So they're 20-inch torpedo, 20-inch torpedoes essentially, like 40 or 50 mil.
So it won't do a lot of damage. So it's not going to saw this boat in half.
No. But it's meant to basically like if you blow a hole in a submarine's pressure hull, it doesn't matter if you kill it.
Yeah.
It's game over.
You have like if it's too deep, you've killed it anyway. The torpedoes are so the Mark 54, which is the heaviest one, it's a 12.75-inch weapon, so 324, and it carries a warhead of 43.9 kilos.
That's a good
Destroys
note.
that.
It could do
Blow
a
your
number on
mind.
the ship's screws, yeah.
Yeah.
Like and it's going to be homing for the ship's screws to an extent.
Yes.
So
Which is exactly the same thing that acoustic homing torpedoes of the German Kriegsmarine in World War II did.
Okay.
and the Fido
And the-
torpedo.
Yes, and
Because
the-
that's why they invented like the Foxer thing, isn't it? So when it was underwater, it just had like two metal plates that just smashed together to try and distract them.
Yes, so originally the torpedoes were they were designed for U-boats to engage convoy escorts,
Yeah.
and the Allies noticed fairly quickly because all of a sudden a
Double
bunch of
kill.
escorts started taking
Oh.
hits to their stern
Triple
areas,
kill.
and so they eventually develop countermeasures, and then right at the end of the war, the Germans developed a torpedo that could tell the difference.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
Luckily for the Allies, they only made about 200 of these torpedoes total, and the only submarine that I know of that actually went to sea with them was sunk by the Allies and was recovered and is now on display in the UK.
Oh, okay.
964, I think it is. It's in pieces.
Oh yes, that's the one they like dissected and just like
Yeah. They had to move it because where it was, they couldn't afford to keep it where it originally was, so they cut it in like 3 pieces.
Yeah.
But it was carrying some of these super advanced torpedoes that could tell the difference.
How would you like your U-boat served today, sir? But that's cool. Let's see what we got. What boat is the best in the modern era, in our opinion? Depends if you like. Some of them are more situational, like others. Like for example, Sovereign Mini is really good at dealing with like lots of grouped up modern era destroyers because the guns, like your Sea Whiz isn't going to protect you from guns. But like if it comes to like generally using missiles, I really like the Nutrishimi now. Actually, like originally it was like your Tycon or your Ali Berg, but after playing Nutrishimi, I'm like, this is fun. Like the missiles preload really quickly, but they're all just fairly decent. Like Nanushka, probably butchered it. I know I have butchered it, and Oliver H. Perry. They're quite situational as well, but OHP in the PvE is just a kill-stealing monster. You just see this little missile go, boo, and then you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
My kill.
The OHP, don't sleep on it. It's actually quite good, but it probably just takes a little bit more investment and progression in it to get it to where it's actually a monster because those homing missiles, like basically once the modern era ships in each wave are gone, the OHP could just it's free real estate.
Yeah. Especially if you stack the bonuses as well. You're talking like a missile every like 2 seconds, and it's just crazy. Because going back to the fast missiles, if you stack the buffs on Sovereign Mini, I had 3 running the other day, and the reload on the secondary missiles was just, they didn't stop. It was just, and they just kept going up. It was crazy.
Yeah, Sovereign has we've modeled the RB 1000Ms as secondary missile launchers
Yeah, I'll play in third person to see if we can witness them launch.
on Sovereign.
There you go.
But, which isn't how these things work. You could use them like this, but
Suboptimal.
they are anti-submarine weapons.
Okay.
They launch a depth charge
Too close.
1,000 meters away that then will fall and
Oh, really?
hopefully hit a submarine. That's
Oh,
what
wow.
they're designed to do.
They are the modern version of the Hedgehog.
Yep.
Okay, that's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yep. Though they've been used in every role imaginable, shore bombardment, anti-ship warfare. So us using them as secondary batteries isn't entirely out of the realm of reality. Though you wouldn't be able to launch one beyond like 1,000 meters, I believe. Unless there's a setting for it.
Okay. Nobody
I
enjoys a
will
depth charge to the face.
And I will maintain until the day I die that every time I hear the name Nustrashimi, I keep thinking it's a fish dish.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, some of these RB1000Ms have even there's been photos of them being mounted onto MTLB chassis and used in like basically tank warfare or anti-infantry roles.
Okay.
I've seen photos of one on the chassis of a T-80,
Oh, you're still approaching me.
which makes a bit more sense for the recoil at least,
Yeah,
because
When
when you can mount something to a hull that weighs 7,000 tons, you don't really have to worry about recoil that much.
yeah. Somebody says, longer story short, the Russian ships are the way to go. The Russian ships are cool, but really all the ships are really viable. If you want like Ticonderoga is
Yeah, Tyke on the road is like
insanely
benchmark.
good.
Yeah,
Like Ticonderoga can handle anything you need it to.
like a lot of it comes down to personal preference as well. But like, just don't sleep on any of them. Like, play all. There's 6 of them, so give all 6 a go, and then just make your own
I
opinions. Off
mean,
that.
I wouldn't be surprised if you guys ran a survey after the event is over and how many people who identify as having lived in, say, the United States or Australia
Yep.
either served on the Perry, the Burke, or the Ticonderoga, or immediate family did.
For sure.
So so there's going to be a lot of people who gravitate to those ships purely due to familiarity.
And I
And
guess,
if we have modeled them wrong, please don't post anything on the Discord.
Yeah.
It's like the mechanics are arcade for a reason. We're not trying to model perfect reality of modern naval systems, so please don't send secret documents.
Yeah. We don't want none of that here. No, thank you.
I was going to say one of the interesting things with the Ticonderogas and their turbine propulsion system, we were talking about rapidity of deployment, is that's also rapidity of the ship itself too.
Oh no.
While the top speed is only 32 knots, give or take, the official top speeds of any ships these days are questionable.
They're both coming for me. Oh my god. It's getting out of hand now. There are 2 of them.
but
Oh
for the-
no.
For the
Uh-oh.
Ticonderogas, they can go 0 to 30 knots in 60 seconds,
Right. Fighting you, man.
which
It
is
must be a sight to behold.
which you're sending a 10,000 ton, give or take, destroyer to its maximum speed in a minute, which, that's hold on to your butts.
Look at the
Yeah, I
damage.
mean-
Oh my gosh.
Because the most extreme example of that in this era is CVN 65,
Hmm.
the original nuclear-powered USS Enterprise.
Oh yeah.
Because she's the first of her type ever built, and so the Navy was still kind of figuring out what they wanted,
Hmm.
and so they base her partially off the previous classes of supercarriers, which are classic steam turbine.
Hmm.
So they're like, okay, our supercarriers have 8 boilers. So what
Of
we
engine
need for
power.
our
Nice.
nuclear-powered aircraft carrier is 8 reactors.
Oh wow.
So I have seen claims that Enterprise's potential maximum power output was something on the order of 400,000 horsepower.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I've seen 330K as being a like casual number for Enterprise.
Yeah.
So
And the tales of her, like when she was on her commissioning trials, they do the speed trial, and Enterprise just leaves every other ship that's with her in her wake,
yeah,
which is impressive when you realize that she displaced 94,000 tons
yeah,
and was outrunning ships, what, a 50th her displacement?
there are stories from destroyers that would be escorting her, where they would like. It was very common that they would the destroyers escorting her would just ask like, "Hey, well, let's race the next 3 miles," and Enterprise would win the race every time because the nuclear propulsion. While it's fundamentally, it's not different than steam propulsion of other warships.
It's all just boiling water.
The instant access to that power is far greater than a traditional turbine, and so she could just immediately work her way up to 300 plus K and fly.
Go to round up the final game because this will be the final one, unfortunately, guys. I'm going to take out the Tycon.
And she is now costing the US Navy billions of dollars because no one knows how to take her apart.
Uh-oh.
Now you have eight nuclear reactors deep within the bowels of a carrier that nobody has full plans or documentations for.
Oh no.
Yep. Because that's how. So in the US Navy, when a nuclear powered vessel is decommissioned, they cut out the bit with the reactor and send that away for processing. The section of Enterprise that you would have to cut out is as long as many warships. And there's 8 reactors in there. They're of a unique design. And she was designed in the 50s and built in the 60s. So no one who was there when they put her together is alive anymore. And she's had so many tweaks and refits and whatnot that no one has full plans for her anymore. So no one, when they were defueling her, because she is defueled at this point. So when I think this was like the mid 2010s when this was going on, the
Could I get a
company
radar, please?
responsible for defueling her couldn't say to its staff with 100% certainty that the pipe they were about to cut through ran firefighting water, drinking water, or coolant water for the reactor. Because on the plan, it just said water pipe. It's like, yes, it did carry water. But what kind of water?
Oh, what did? Yeah, true. Actually, you don't want to get some some of the excited water on you, do you?
If you cut it open and you just start seeing green,
Yeah. Why have I got an extra hand?
Why is this backlit by blue LED?
Yeah.
why do I hear the Fallout Rad size?
Yeah. I remember this from the video game. Wait a minute.
Which is why the more modern US nuclear-powered carriers have 2 reactors. Partially because the reactors got a lot better technology-wise, because Enterprise essentially was using 8 modified submarine reactors. But Admiral Rickover, who is the father of the nuclear navy in the US, I don't know how apocryphal it is, but the tale is that he wanted nuclear power to be submarines only.
Okay.
And so when he was overruled with what becomes Enterprise, he says, make it so complicated they'll never want another.
Oh. Thanks, buddy.
For context, he had some justified grudges, let's say.
Yes.
When he was placed in charge of the very beginning of the nuclear submarine program, People thought he was such a fool for the idea that the office they gave him was the ladies' bathroom in the Pentagon.
Oh.
And he ran the entire nuclear submarine program for a few years from there.
Oh, wow.
And proved them all wrong.
Incredibly influential man.
Yes.
Like the reason the U.S. Navy submarine force is as capable and competent as it is today is a large part down to his sheer force of will.
And mind you, has been running nuclear reactors nonstop for 60 years now with no major reactor incidents.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
like if you want like military nuclear, like especially in the West, is incredibly safe. There's been a few reactor scrams where they have to emergency shut down the reactor,
Yeah.
but there's never been a proper failure.
Okay.
Yep.
And basically, yes. So Rickover was mocked for his initial plans, and so when he proved it could work, all the big surface ship admirals are like, "Great! Now we can put reactors in our cruisers and destroyers and our carriers." Rickover was very much, "Oh, now you want it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, you'll have it. You won't like it because all the knowledge is in the submarine core. So we're going to end up designing these systems as we would with submarines, which is how Enterprise ends up with basically eight improved versions of Nautilus's reactor, if I remember correctly, if I remember the design lineage.
Yep.
Okay.
Which
makes
Nautilus
sense,
is
yeah.
Nautilus is the first nuclear submarine.
Yeah. So even in it is always politics, personal politics, national politics, sort of.
I was unable to kill the Worcester, and he has decided that my existence on this planet is no longer permitted.
That's understandable.
He's burning me. Stop him.
Weird fun fact about the Worcester in the modern US Navy. The starting point for the now cancelled Ticonderoga replacement, the CGNX, the starting design plans used Worcester as the basis.
Okay.
I guess that makes sense because it's the last cruiser, like the last built up from like intentionally as a cruiser. So
Yes. So they used her as a starting point, which is interesting. And in the 1980s, it was also considered to
mean to use
rebuild
both
the
those?
Des Moines class with an Aegis system.
that would have been
We almost-
pretty fire.
We almost had Aegis Des Moines. They considered the Des Moines because they did a feasibility study for Aegis on Iowas and determined that the blast effect from the 16-inch guns would just completely obliterate an Aegis system.
Yep.
Because the blast effect from a missile or a 5-inch gun is orders of magnitude less extreme than 9 16-inch guns.
Menacing Kai asks, what are our opinions on hydrofoils being used more in military service or just being restricted to like coastal defense due to the weight they would be?
They have uses in certain circumstances. I think the Norwegians had a class of fast attack hydrofoils in the
US did
70s
too.
and 80s.
Pegasus class.
I think the Norwegians with the Skald class.
I think I think that sounds right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Pegasus and the Skald share pieces. Like so like they have been used. The problem is that hydrofoils aren't great in open water, like
Okay.
deep sea operations.
Yeah, because once you get some waves going on, the
Yeah.
hydrofoil mechanics becomes a like
You become an airplane,
Yeah, an afterthought, isn't it? Yeah.
a bad airplane.
Why? Why have we gone zero gravity, guys?
It's just like that hydrofoil that's great in the water suddenly becomes an actual airfoil.
Yeah. The like the what's the monster that served with the Soviet Union? The forget what they called it.
the
Down.
typhoons.
Oh, the Akranoplan.
The Akranoplan,
yeah.
that's it, yeah. That big spooky thing.
the Lud class or Loon class.
Yes. Oh god, what's the name of the effect that they use?
It's ground effect, yeah.
Yeah, ground effect. Yes, fascinating.
Really, really
the fact
cool.
Oh yeah, fantastic, and they work mostly.
The only issue with them is though, isn't it? It takes like a mile for them to actually turn. That's
Yeah.
like the big issue with them,
Yeah.
which is why they can only like
Yeah,
straight
and-
line.
And only like perfect weather days.
Yeah.
basically.
Yes.
Yeah, any rough sea is just no go.
And that's pretty much it. The U.S. did basically one test bed hydrofoil that was almost destroyer size. It was like 3,000 tons, I believe. Just to see how things work at that scale. And the thing did fly. It worked. But the reality was that in heavy seas, the complex operation mechanism for hydrofoiling and all that sort of stuff is not reliable, and it just becomes a dead weight at that point.
You're better off just building a conventional ship configured for high speed running.
Yep.
Like hydrofoils have an advantage, like in the Norwegian case, where they're basically supposed to sit in like the entrances to fjords and come screaming out of the fjords and fire a bunch of anti-ship missiles at a slowly approaching Soviet amphibious force
Yep.
and then run away. But you're not building an ocean-going fleet of destroyer-sized hydrofoils. It's often said that in every military plan, the enemy gets a vote too. Physics does as well.
Yep.
Are you drawing the winners now or later?
I'm not sure how the giveaway is being.
Pretty sure it's later.
Very well.
But by the way, there is a giveaway. Make sure you take a look at the
Pinned comment.
pinned comment, the description, because we will be giving away 2 pinata quests to 10 lucky winners and 3 Tiger 59s to 3 lucky winners.
3 whole Tiger 59s.
Which Tiger 59, since she got her dispersion buff, is actually a really good ship, and highly recommend checking her out if you haven't in the past, I guess, 6 months or
There
so.
we go. Winners will be announced on Tuesday, August 11th in a pinned comment. There we go.
Sounds good. So keep an eye out for the winners on Tuesday.
That wraps that up, I'd say.
So oh yeah, it is.
It is now
It is indeed
7:02.
in time. So thank you everyone for joining us. Do we want Killerben, you probably need to get running, don't you?
Luckily, I'm already at home.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I guess we'll give it a final round of a couple questions, and then
Sure.
and then pack it up. So does anybody have any questions for us? And also you can open the questions for game design about the mode. If anybody has any questions about the mode, I can try to answer them. I helped with the game design of the mode. I'm not part of the team of the game designers for the mode. So I might be able to answer your questions, might not. Killer Ben is providing useful info about CBN65.
In PC's time frame, she fits. We could do her.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. What have you done?
One of those hammers I hold over the community. Don't behave, super carrier.
Be good. Be good.
Habakkuk with tall boys.
Oh, no. Why
You
have I
joke,
just
but
been
we have-
death struck by a carrier?
That's
Our colleagues did crunch the numbers on the rocket boosted tall boy.
Oh. Uh-oh.
We know how much penetration that thing could have.
The answer is much.
I'm guessing it's just going to go straight through. Like,
It would if you dropped it on a Yamato, it would have detonated basically at the keel.
oh, okay. Wow.
But but going through the 7 odd inches of deck armor while it did it.
Would that have put it in 2?
Possibly.
Go. It did saw this boat in half. Got there.
Not armor penetrating, by the way, according to the U.S. Navy Ordnance Manual.
No, it's not. It's a medium capacity bomb. It is not an armor piercing bomb.
Or a general purpose in U.S. parlance. So we got some questions here. Why can't we use a Sea-Wiz as anti-aircraft in the mode? So there are two portions to this question. One is it is already active as anti-aircraft in the mode. However, it is a 20 millimeter anti-aircraft mount, so the range is very limited, and they don't have and we don't have the guns set up as dual purpose. But it is something we could make improvements to later on. But yeah, in terms of the ships are more designed around the PvP mode access side of things, where encounters with aircraft was going to be only from Malzver Hazard Berry. Are you willing to talk about why Legends team doesn't see subs as viable? I can't speak for the whole team, but from my perspective, just my perspective, just looking at it from a game design aspects, is that it adds a 3D element to a game that is basically 2D. If you think about it, the game only works on the surface of the ocean. It's kind of acting like chess units firing across from one part of the ocean to the other part of the ocean. You had submarines that adds a third layer of underneath the ocean and depth. And that's a whole level of additional complexity to everything that you may not think about, but it's a whole issue by itself. Which faction did you choose?
I stand with Accord
I am
for the corporation.
I'm a Meridian boy because
Traitor.
I like the Meridian camo. I think that the Meridian camo, it's very bright, but I just like the oil spill sort of design direction of it.
Get this man, get this traitor off my stream now.
Yep.
Because you got the Accord camo, it glows. Enough said. Got some cool little electric yellow and blue going on.
Yep.
Well, I think so. I'm colorblind. Not the best to do with colors, unfortunately.
Chances of seeing other missile ship nations down the line. What are you interested in seeing down the line? I don't think we can answer any kind of questions along these lines.
Yeah.
But modern ships are both, I would say, very limiting in a lot of ways, in that there are not very many modern ships out there, but also have a lot of range of opportunities in terms of what you can do with them. So working on these has been interesting to see the whole thing. I think we can say that for sure.
100%.
So I think we can wrap it up here. So
Wrap it up there, yeah.
Thank you for coming, everyone. I hope you're enjoying Modern Era, fighting for your faction, be it Accord or Meridian. It seems that many of the people are with Accord, at least the vocal people. So yeah, that's good. Thank you as well for our special guest Killerman joining us.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
very
you
much
for inviting me.
us.
And
Always a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure, yeah. Been a lot of fun.
have a good week. Stay safe out there, everyone.
Take
Catch
care.
you next time.
Catch you on the next one.